Let's do it.
So glad to have you here.
Yeah, and I see a little bit of artwork behind you.
Just a little bit, and it's in front of me, beside me, and the closet stacked up. Yeah.
I love it.
Painting.
Okay, I'm just looking. Terry, if you can hear me,
Yeah, she
send me
joined
your
us.
email address because
Yeah.
I don't have it, and I can send you the
she's
email
here, though, so
over.
she got it.
She is here. I know. I'm trying to see. Hold on.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
It's a little crazy here, so I don't know how long I'll be able to stay on. I've got 3 kids with flu and croup, so it's a miracle I'm here.
Get the energy of it and listen to the recording.
Right.
You can get all the creativity rolling through right now and then keep like sucking it in for a while later.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just start tuning into it because you don't even have to hear everything cognitively, honestly, like hanging out with Tara. You should, I mean, me too, of course, but it's like, it's just this thing that starts happening in your body and you just start opening up. And when you're around other creative people, you can sort of feel it in your body. Like it's not even tangible, right, Tara? It's just this space of creation is this opening up of the molecules and allowing the inspiration. What else would we like to start with, Tara?
Just like you were saying, we're holding space, and there's a palpable energy that's in the air by each one of you joining us. So this isn't just about Erica and I. It's bringing in people who are creators and already touching in on the creations that have come from you and are asking to come from you. So we're in this like awesome little soup right now. And Terry, I love the fact that your children are right there in it with us. And I wonder what it will move out that's not a contribution to them, and then move in that is a contribution to them and their family during this time. So yeah, so thanks everybody for showing up for this teaser of a conversation about unleashing our power and creativity. Just in that, there's like a whole lot of energy.
And you know, we connected right before this, and now seeing who's joined us, I wanna bring up, you are all potent creators. So you have this knowing, it's like we're in a place of holding space for creation and supporting others in creation, so that the world basically, every time we know it and own it, and I know with like some of the people on the call, like they write a lot, and these ways of you doing this is already changing the fabric of the future. Like in that space of you giving your creations time in the morning or time before you go to bed, or time as you allow the creations to have the time, you can sense that they desire it. And when you honor that, the world changes before it's published. The world that creation is already going out and having molecular changes and reaching other people. So if Tara makes a painting, you can see one behind her that's just stunning. That's already changing the world, even if everyone hasn't seen it yet. It's very interesting.
It is. They have their own life, even though they're born from us. Oh, it's so funny because she had an amazing dream. And so it's interesting that I use that word. But we bear witness, and then we birth creations. And so it's interesting because Erica contacted me this morning. She's like, I dreamt about you last night. Do you want to share the dream and where we went with that?
So you guys, this is bizarre. Like I don't always remember my dreams, but sometimes I do. But I dreamt Tara had a baby girl, and I was holding her, and she was this beautiful little being, and she had these beautiful eyes. And as we were looking at it, it was so interesting, the energy of the dream of creation. It couldn't have been more perfect, right? She was really perfect, in case you do want a daughter. In case it was precognitive.
Right? So cute. So we talked about the fact that doesn't have to be a baby. So that, like, you know, the root chakra and connecting to that creativity. A lot of people, even like moving into different stages of their life, they talk about like having more children or, you know, bearing more children. And what if every single creation is that space? And so to me, when Erica was talking to me about it, it's like allowing my essence to come forward from me and in a feminine form. And then to have the eyes, like not just my eyes, but like for this creation to have its own eyes and connect to the world in its own way that's separate from me. And so I'm super excited because like new things are being born. And so we come to you and ask, like, what are your creations that you may not even know about right now that are asking for you to be the ones that bear it, you the ones that birth it and bring it into the world and like showcase it and like really, you know, when you have this new baby, everybody wants to clamor and like be close to it. Are you willing for people to clamor and be close and for you to showcase a new birth, a new creation into the world? Maybe multiple. I have a feeling that this group is powerhouses. I know some of you, so I know that you're powerhouses. And I already feel the energy of your choices and how you're affecting the world. And are we willing to really amplify that and stop holding back and stop holding our creations back?
I have a question,
So
Tara.
one of the things that Erica and I do, sure, go ahead, go.
One of the things I get asked a lot is around, if I create, what if my family judges me for it? Or what if people that I care about like don't like it? Or what if I really tell my truth and then someone gets offended? Or that whole energy around that, like you can feel it kind of like rocking, what I look at as like the life force of the river. And each of these rocks kind of like stops and the water can't even, it gets all stilted. What are some tools for really shifting that so that the creation itself can be, I'm really getting like, can be as big as it desires to be? Or like, because you know what I'm talking about, that like, what if my family judges me energy?
Yep. Our families, our friends, what if, you know, we get too big for them? Oh my gosh. What do you know over there, Althea?
Yeah, Althea, what do you know over there, baby? Ah! And for those on audio, that was the bird.
Yeah, that was double birds. You have to get to that point. We've talked about this a lot, Tara. People are just going to judge, but please, I'm always open to more insights about receiving judgment and keep going anyway. That one I really love receiving from, like, how do you keep being you, creating whatever feels right for you and not caring what people think? How do I do that?
Right. So we're definitely going to be going over that in like week 1 of our class. But for right now, the piece of it that I would like to say, and Erica, like, please chime in, is actually realizing that these creations are separate from ourselves. And so if you had like a niece, a nephew, or a little boy or a little girl next to you, would you let somebody take them down? When we actually honor them from outside of us, separate from us, like, we want to like showcase them. And if somebody came along and said like that's wrong, or like they can't grow up to be whatever they want to be, you'd go, you're so funny. Like, you know, and what would it take for us to get into the space and the place of, I'm holding space for this creation to be as big as it likes to be, and not to defend and react against somebody who's saying, no, it can't, but just to go, oh, you're so funny. Watch this going on, because I know the power that's within this creation. What do you know?
There's a defining of your reality. And many times you just have to tune out what other people say. And one of the things that I've known, like when I got a job in television, you know, you'll never get a job in television. Or when I got a job as a news reporter, you'll never get paid to write. Well, I've been paid to write since 1984 professionally. So, and I even got paid like yesterday to write something. I didn't even want to get paid to write yesterday, but I wrote something in there like, can I send you $250? She's probably listening.
No, don't. Yes, please.
So what I said when I graduated from college was, well, I'm going to get paid to write because that's what I do. And I love it. And it was just not a question for me. So then it was about having the reality kind of catch up with what I knew to be true in myself. So as you're looking at like, what is my reality for myself? And then just allowing the universe to kind of catch up with you, because it could be you're ahead of your time, and it could be your ideas.
Not Althea though, no, not
it could be your ideas are here, and then the world's going to catch up, and that's why you've been given them now though. You don't want to be giving them 10 years after people fucking need them. Like, oh, I could have used that 10 years ago. No, right? We're giving them now so that in 3 years when someone actually finds you because you've actually agreed to put your name on something and put it in a gallery or put it on the internet or allowed it to be seen, 3 years from now, finally the planet will be ready for it. So you want to trust that creation, all of you, as it comes up from you and it starts bubbling out. It might look awkward. It's okay. Like, what if it really doesn't make any sense? You know, that's even a real reason to know that it's for real. Because if it makes perfect sense, it might not even have that originality, that authenticity, that thing that is yours that really no one else can do you. You might be able to play with you, but they can't do you. Just saying.
All that energy that just came up was super yummy. Yeah. So I loved that. Like, are you like way before your time and you're the invitation to something that makes people, like, to me, it makes them super uncomfortable and it makes us super uncomfortable. And are we willing to ride out that uncomfort to actually be the gateway to what is possible that we know and maybe they have no idea yet? Yeah. Through our creations, through our bodies, through our being, like, how much fun could that be?
So I want to open it up if anyone has a question or something that's been, you know, on their mind or holding them back, or any questions. Okay. If anybody has a question, maybe Darlene's dog has a question.
Right.
She always has dogs around her.
I love that. Love me some doggies. Hi, Marie-Laure. How do you say your name? Marie-Laure?
Hi, Marie-Laure.
Ah, more beautiful. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine, and it's funny because I don't have any idea of what my creation are actually, and it's great because you told that even if cognitively we don't have the precise idea of what it is, we have to create a space for that.
Absolutely. And so what do you do right now in order to create a space to allow it to actually flow from behind you, in you, and then out of you?
For the moment, I just opening to the awareness of how many times when I have an idea, it's not mine. It's just something I pick from somebody else, believing that it's what I want to create.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I perceive that my own creation, my own ideas are very hidden. I just spent a lot of time to hide these ideas from myself. And now it's like if there is some walls or things and I don't have access to my ideas of creation because they're hidden behind something. And I spend all my time with the ideas of others, just avoiding my own ideas. It's just my point. And I just want to open to my own way of creation. And it's just a point the awareness I have these last few days.
What a beautiful awareness. Yeah. I'm super excited about where we'll be going with these classes and assisting with removing those doors, walls, ceilings, and the illusion of them, really, so that you can start to see and like just ooze, like it ooze out of you. Like how much fun for like you to not be able to hold anything back and know like what's yours and to like harness it and run with it. Yeah.
But
And the other thing, you know, Marie Loire, that shows up for me has to do with so again, just going back to all the years I've done things with authors and creators, sometimes there'll be like a bigger mission on the planet for consciousness, and seeds of that consciousness will get planted in more than one person. And so like a couple years ago, there was this whole thing of if you're not perfect, it's okay. And there was like 20 million books on it. And the one right now is if you failed, it's okay. You know, it cracks me up. Like you'll just see these like themes that will sort of start showing up in like 10 different books all at the same time. And it's because there's billions of us on the planet right now. And so when consciousness wants to be of, and when consciousness and creation wants to be of, you'll get something. And I would write through judging it if it's yours or someone else's, because even that could be a lie. Like that could be a way of messing with you and stopping you from writing. I would just write everything. And the fact that maybe you've seen it before somewhere, it's not still going to be as you, it's like if someone cut your hair, even if it was a bob, it's not going to look the same on you. Do you see? Even if it was a style that was current at the time, it will not look the same with your beautiful complexion and your cheekbones and your unique eyebrows. And, you know, our hair is just one way of saying it. So as your creations come through you and as you give your writing space to be born and as you tell stories, they're going to have things that you experienced woven into them, into almost like the DNA of the creations. And they can't not be authentic. Like, that's actually some made up lie. Like if you're into it and you tune in and you let it in and it starts creating and you start working on it, it's going to have an impression of your energy in it, which is your thumbprint. It's not anyone else's. So even if I looked at Tara's painting and some magical god came over and tapped my hand and I could paint, I couldn't paint that exact painting. Do you see? Because it wouldn't have her morning, her vibration, her tuning in, it's what if it was so much easier? What if you trusted that your creations were you without any, and maybe they're like someone else's idea mixed with your idea, or someone else's idea about how you perceived it, right? Or someone else's idea that you heard, but then you went, when I look at that, what makes me feel like my body wants to move in the mornings, and this is what gets me going. And maybe someone else needs to learn it from you, and they can't learn it from the guy with the big old beefy body. Like they look at him and they're like, I can't learn how to move from him. You know, look at him. I'll never look like him. I mean, very likely I will never look like a male bodybuilder. I mean, it's very likely. In this lifetime, I'm just saying, with my shape. But if I could learn from you, now that would be different, right? Because you're a female and you could maybe be kinder to me, or you would have movements that I would understand. So you're both teaching, do this, and I'm going to learn differently from you, do you see? That's the creation where you're in it. And what if it wasn't even important, the exact words of it? Isn't that funny? Just a thought.
Thank you, Erica.
Yeah. Personally, it lit me up. I was like, yeah, all that. And like how many people are trying to be so unique that they never allow themselves to even speak and create. And yet our very essence, exactly what you're saying, Erica, is unique, and it's going to bring its unique energy and flavor and invitation just by going forward. And I mean, for myself, in doing art, and I do other modalities too, but in doing art, like I find that every single time I go to the canvas, like something else is created. So I couldn't even create that again because my energy is different. And so how cool is that? You know, how cool is it? Like we don't have to keep revisiting even our own creations and our own ways of creating. Like we just get to be.
Right.
You know, and everything that we do is an expression of that in our own
So
universe.
our class is asking us to tell you guys about it.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting. Tara and I have been in creation on it, and we've been working on letting it create itself the way like it wants to be created. So it's both Tara and I together, and also it's not of us
Mhm.
because it's got this energy of its own thing.
Mhm.
So it's unleashing the power of your creations, and we're going to work on clearing old agreements, contracts, fealties, anything that's bound you. We're going to, anybody who's willing to go through lifetimes, you can. Anyone who doesn't believe in lifetimes, it's all right. We don't really have an attachment. Anything, you know, when you were 3, it might be something that when you were 6, the first week is just going to be like a really deep connection with any place that's stopping your, a lot of times it's the throat chakra that got shut down. A lot of times it's a teacher that told you sucked at something. We get shut down right and left throughout so, you know, part of being our age now is just clearing all that so we can keep being free. And then week 2, we're going to start talking to creations. And Tara, why don't you share a little bit more about that?
Okay, so our creations have their own energy, and so very similar to the dream that Erica had, it is its own life form. And so we're gonna like actually tap in and ask some questions to our creations and allow them to communicate back to us. And then we're going to also fuel them with energy so that they can start leading us in this co-creative experience. And I love, I don't see your name, but she's in a bathing suit. I'm over here in Chicago, freezing, and she's in a bathing suit. I love that. So I just had to point out, I love the fact that so
I'm in Maui, and it's I had to move out of the sun because my back was starting to burn.
Oh my God.
oh honey.
But next week I'll join you back from Saskatchewan. So it's like I go home tomorrow. So
I'm sorry.
anyways, carry on with your what you were talking there. Sorry.
What a beautiful
had to just
Can I have some vicarious Maui, please?
Right. No
for
doubt.
sure.
Yeah. I love that. So just in that, like she's in this beautiful creation of her own being in Maui. And thank you for blessing us with that energy today. So just really allowing ourselves to receive that energy from our creations. And we'll go way more in depth of that. But a lot of people think that it's all our work and it's all about us pushing and pushing and pulling and pulling. And they have this momentum and force. And so we're going to tap into that momentum and force. And I honor them.
Yeah. And that really is going to take 2 sessions, because this whole practice of allowing the force and the strength of your creations to have their own energy, we're going to help you with that, and also be there with you with that. And we'll chat with your creations with you, you know, so we'll support that and just kind of have a gentle connectivity that's pretty much free of judgment as much as any human being can be. You know, human beings got a lot of judgment thrown at us. Some of us are still clearing those patterns. And then the last week is fun because Tara came up with this one. It was, what was it? Money if you judge? I can't remember.
I don't remember exactly what I said, but it's just
could you get money even if you didn't think your creations were perfect?
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, allowing other people to receive them as well, you know, just allowing people to receive our creations when we're in judgment of them, and them not to have judgment and deciding to give us actual money for them. Like, how much fun can that be?
Yeah, that lights me up pretty good.
Absolutely.
So it's the same day and time, and it's the first week of March on, and it's $250 US. And if you were to join today, we have the PayPal Me. It's PayPal Me. It's Tara. So it's PayPal Me Beyond This Reality 250 for all 4 classes. If you do join today, we will share with you. We'll make 2. We'll each make an energy pull just for you, and we'll email you that energy pull just for you creation. So that's your plus if you join today. And then next Tuesday, we're having another one of these. So you're all invited back for more juicy, yummy, complimentary 30 minutes of creativity awakening. And I'm just going to tune into all of your creations right now. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a warm hello and nourishment, whatever they are, wherever they are, whatever space they're in, whatever time they're in, however elusive they've been. Or in some cases, how all over you they are. Tara, what else would you like to share with everyone that's joined us today?
Yeah, I love the space of tapping into the creations and also each one of your beings, and just giving gratitude for you showing up today in all your fullness. Just for a moment, would we be willing to receive, like not just Erica and I, would all of us be willing to receive each other? And to acknowledge that it's not by accident that we've come together, that whether our words, our questions, our clearings, our creations, or just our very being and our energy will contribute. I get our like the collective whole will contribute to the expansiveness of each person's ask. Like each one of you are coming here asking for something like even greater than an individual creation. You're looking at the overall of the creation of your life. And so what if we take that also into account and just honor it right now? The creation of your being and your life and everything that you're doing. And then allow in and receive in the energy of each other. And just honor that each person is here to contribute to that expanding in any way.
I got one more thing. So
Yeah.
I had someone on my podcast recently, and she talked about allowing like your body to eat anything it wants and how different that is from how we're raised. So she talked about like allowing the body to have the life force that it wanted and just lowering the barriers to letting it choose. And I got that for creations. Like, how big do your paintings want to be? Like, how much of the planet would they like to be in different parts of the planet? Like, how much would they like to grace walls in different cities and states that they're in? And how much would they like to pollinate consciousness all over the planet? And I really got a beautiful sense of creation from this group of what you are doing already, wanting to acknowledge that your creations are already having their voice. So yeah, that voice and letting it, the power of them can be, I think the power of them can be where they're almost hard to receive, like from your creations when they get that big, you know? And I don't mean big in any predictable fashion or, you know, nameable fashion, but just sometimes the movement that you're creating with your work, it has this life force that you're kind of going, oh my gosh, like I could create that, you know? Like, oh my gosh, I could, it's so big sometimes. And that can actually come back and go, wow, that's a lot of responsibility. And maybe what we can help you with today is just having an awareness of your own knowing. That was something we talked about on the chat before.
Absolutely. Yeah, just tapping into your own knowing, like really asking, like, are you ready? Not just the readiness, but like, yeah, the ready. Like, anywhere that you are saying that you're not, Althea, you're so cute.
I know.
I think this little face is just going,
Althea's just embracing
pull that out of me, right? So
you're so fun.
right?
Oh
So
my God, I think 20 more paintings just got like hatched. They're
Right.
now they're like they're gonna keep popping in. Thanks a lot, you guys. She just got like 20 more paintings. Did you feel that?
yeah, it's like, yeah, anywhere, and also anywhere that we're saying that like others aren't ready, and are we willing to show up anyway? Okay, are they asking us to show up anyway? How many other people have like shown up in the bigness of them and we've been uncomfortable in their space, and yet we're like later, thank you for showing up anyway, even though you made me uncomfortable, even though I judged you. Yeah, thank you for showing up anyway, because now my life is different because of those people. And now are we willing to be those people that open it up for others? And our creations, are they saying, please, 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 take off the tethers, take off the tethers.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. We're going to honor the time, and we will see you. We can either see you on our 4-week class, or we can see you next week, or we'll see you in our travels. So
absolutely, looking forward to it. Bye, everybody. We'll send out the replay too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.